Hi, what's up, y'all? It's Elijah on Hot Talk Radio. Alright, so I'm up in the morning doing a podcast. So the other day I had posted on my Facebook and I was like, man, sometimes the other woman be your way out of a relationship. For real. Like for real, for real. Like sometimes the other woman be your way out of a relationship. And I say that in many, many cases, right? Because there are times where you get stuck in relationships with people and you get comfortable, woo woo, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And you try to leave, but or ideally you want to leave, but you never actually do because you didn't got comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some situations where it's like there are people in a relationship that cannot leave. And sometimes you just gotta wait on the right exit strategy. And sometimes they really be like another woman or another man. You hear me? But I'm not gonna talk about that particular thing where you be stuck in these relationships and you cannot leave. I'm not gonna talk about that because they taps into abuse and different things of that nature, and I'm not talking about that today. But sorry. But yeah, sometimes like that woman or that other woman or that other man be your exit out of the relationship. I am so serious. Right? I know for a fact that I've been in relationships before where it's like, oh, he's a good man. Stay with that man. Yada yada this. Yada yada that. Like all this nonsense, right? And it's like, yeah, he a good man, but I don't really like him like that. You know what I mean? Like deep down inside, that's what you be thinking. But like people be saying, you gotta stay with this man because of this. You gotta stay with this woman because she does this. And it's like, but I don't really like them like that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And it's not because they're no bad person or they're not a good person. It's just like something just ain't right. You know what I mean? They do all this good stuff for you. They do all this great stuff for you, yada yada, whatever, whatever. But it's like, do we actually belong together? You know what I mean? And sometimes in life, like you can get so consumed with trying to fit a square into a round hole. Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's really crazy. Like for real. Like I know, and I speak about this. Like if you ever get an opportunity to listen to my EP mix, it's called the Atonement Six, right? If you ever get an opportunity to listen to that, and it kind of talks a little bit about that, where you get stuck in this relationship with y'all trauma bond or the relationship toxic or whatever, and you stuck with them or you stuck on that person, yada yada, whatever, whatever. But one thing I know for a fact, and two things I know for sure, is like having that other woman come into that picture. Like sometimes it could actually save a relationship. You know what I mean? Because as you grow through time in a relationship, every couple of years, a person is changing. They're trying new things. They're stepping outside of their comfort zone. They're stepping outside the box. And that's not every relationship because a lot of relationships they be the same for like 50 years and it will work for them. But most of the time, just normal people, we try different things, you know, and that kind of sort of is what keeps the relationship spicy. But then a lot of times, it is the thing that also leaves your partner behind. You know what I mean? Like if you growing and your partner is not growing, or if y'all growing in two different directions, or like whatever the situation is, and but y'all still trying to make the relationship work. Like a lot of people be like, oh, relationships are hard. You got to try to make them work. You got to make them work, and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but do I really belong with this person? You know. And when you had an extra woman or man come into the picture, which they should never be there in the first place. But I'm just saying, like when it gets to that point, you know what I mean? You have time to sit down and take analysis and really sit down and think um about their relationship, the position you play in their relationship, the position that you want your partner to play, the position that they are currently playing. Like, is it gonna get better? Is it gonna get worse? Are they ever gonna change? Are they not gonna change? The thing, kind of thing. Um, does this relationship serve purpose or is it just for comfort? Do I want to grow outside of my comfort zone? Is this something I can deal with for the next 50 years? Um, and you really start to get to thinking, because when the other partner has somebody new that they entertaining, they stop paying attention to you, right? And even though it might suck if you actually like that person, it sucks like, oh my God, they're not paying attention to me anymore. I'm so sad. But when you really sit there on some grown woman stuff, some grown man stuff, you be like, okay, they're not paying me no attention. So I got plenty of time to pay attention to myself. And you get to thinking. And when you get to thinking, you get to writing. And when you get to writing, you get to weighing out pros and cons. 1+1 = 2. 3+3 = 6. You know what I'm saying? Is this adding up to the things that I want in my life? But sometimes, sometimes you be in a relationship, it's like, I really don't have a legitimate reason to leave this person on paper. You know what I mean? But when that other woman or that other man comes into the relationship, and then it's like, that's all I needed to try to get me over, to get me up out of here. That's all I needed, you know, because a lot of times, like, you'll be with a person. A lot of times we'll settle for a person. And I say we settle for a person, right? And it's not because they bad people. When you say settle, it just means that you accept something that was not your idea or was not something that you wanted, right? And so we settle in these relationships, and then sometimes we get comfortable and we get stuck, and we forget that it's okay to try again. You know what I mean? It's okay to upgrade yourself. You know, it's okay to not to try to fit into a situation that's too small for you. You know what I mean? And it's for real. You know, sometimes you just gotta like go with it. You know what I mean? You just gotta go with it. It's like, oh, you dating somebody else? Okay, cool. Do your thing. You know, like a lot of times, like men, they'll be like, yeah, my woman know I got another girl, this and the third. I'm gonna be honest, like, if your woman know that you got another woman that you entertaining, or a man know that you got another man that you entertaining, and they don't even trip about it, that either means one or two things. They finna get rid of you. They was waiting on you to find somebody else so they can get rid of you. Or they just cool with the lifestyle. They sick of you and they was like, okay, well, somebody else can deal with you for a little while. Then when they get done, they gonna send your ass back home. For real, this literally what they mean. For real. Cause like sometimes you can be in these relationships like, and you want to grow, you want to progress, and honestly, you probably can grow and you can progress with that person, but it depends on the type of person that you dating too. You know, I know for a fact, like when you got so many outside entities in your relationship, like I've dated people where they would literally go and talk to everybody else about how to deal with me, how to relate with me, um, what to say to me, what to do with me, this is and the third. But not once did they ever come talk to me. You know what I mean? And I'm being for real because, you know, your relationship should be a reflection of you. It's an extension of you. It's a reflection of you. So it makes sense, you know, that you sometimes will go outside of your relationship to kind of ask different relationship questions to people that you trust, you know, because you want their advice. But you have to really pay attention to the advice that person is taking. You know, and for me, I feel like the main advice you need to be taking is the person that you with. You know what I mean? And it's for real. But a lot of people don't realize that. You know, when you get to looking outside your relationship for new things, different things, better things, things that make you happy, whatever, and it don't necessarily have to be another person. It can be literally be like gambling, gaming, smoking. Like it could be anything outside the relationship. It don't even matter. But when you get to looking outside your relationship for other stuff, like for real, it's like sometimes there be your way out. You know what I mean? Like if it's a consistent pattern, like how often do you ever actually sit there and talk to your partner and ask them like, hey, how are you doing? You know, how can we fix this? You know, I'm feeling this way, this way, that way, da, da, da. Like what's the communication like? You know what I mean? Communication is very, very important. It's important to a business that you communicate the things that you want, need, this, that, and the third, so that you can grow and build. What do you think that does with a relationship? You got to communicate effectively if you want to grow and build, and it's just a real deal for you. But once your partner stops communicating with you and they start communicating with somebody else, you therefore have the time to communicate with yourself. And when you start communicating with yourself, you start to think, hired or fired? Do I fire this person? Do I hire this person? You know what I mean? Do I stick with it or do I leave it? And it's just what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Is this person productive for my life? Is this person progressive? Is this person important to me enough for me to stick it out through this hard time that we going through? And it really be the big question. Is this person important enough for me to stick it out through this hard time that we going through with them cheating and doing stupid shit? Because just paying my bills and being there and showing up ain't enough. Because at the end of the day, where the love at? Where the love at? You know what I'm talking about? Where the love at? And it's just what it is for me. But that outside partner will really allow you to take analysis in yourself. Is this right for me? Do I want this? Or do I not want this? Take your emotions out of it intake calculations for real.